We are back, and we'll be joined by our first guest of the evening. He is featherweight, Nasty Nate Jennerman, coming off a second round victory over Sean West, March 25th, and is now slated to make his Legacy Fighting Alliance debut May 17th. Quick turnaround, brother. What are you doing? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. Thanks for having me back on the show. I was like coming on here and talking with you guys. I feel great. You know, it was nice to get that win out of the way.
I don't mean to get right into the drama aspect of it, but I seen your opponent. Your opponent was painting a nice little story of how you couldn't take a punch and how his hand wasn't broken, this, that, and the third. You know, it kind of played out exactly how we talked about it on here. You know, does Sean have a lot of skills? Yes. Is he dangerous in a lot of areas? Yes. It's just you're a little bit tougher, a little bit stronger, a little more savvy. And I think the result kind of showed, and the opportunities you have presented itself kind of proven that.
Oh, definitely. Yes, sir. I mean, he talked a lot about how I couldn't take a punch. It's like, if I couldn't take a punch, I wouldn't have got right back up and come forward back at you.
Nate, no kidding, bro. Oh, my God, man. You showed a lot of things in that fight, and one of the main things you showed is that you're a resilient son of a bitch. I mean, you took you took everything he gave you. I mean, was that a legal knee in the first round anyway? I mean, I thought he gave you like 2 or 3 knees. I didn't know one was illegal or not, but, I mean, you can take it. And then just dish it right back. And I think that's what surprised him.
I think so, too. And going to the knees, I think they were all legal in the technicality of being a standing opponent. But on one of them, the ref told me to stand up. So I thought I was, like, free to get up however I could. And then, like, the ref would restart us. And he kneed me in the face before, like, I even knew that we were still fighting. I thought the ref had to restart us.
Yeah, because there's a certain position where it's weird. Yeah, because it kind of looked weird, like at one of those knees. I was like, are they standing? Are they sitting? I mean, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it was different. But, yeah, like I said, I mean, I took everything he had. I took his best shots. And, you know, he cried about his hand being broke. And it's like, you broke your hand because you don't throw technical punches. You wing them out there, and they're landing wherever they land. Like, yeah, they hurt. They're big, but they're not technical. You broke your hand because you didn't throw technical. And at the end of the day, you quit. He tapped out. He quit. He pretty much told me I was the better man by quitting. And
is that what he was doing when he chased you over to the other side of the cage?
Yeah, he thought I held the choke too long. I let go as soon as the ref stopped me, and so he was just mad. I mean, I get it. Losing sucks, but it's part of the game. And it's like, dude, you've lost like six fights by submission. It's like, start doing some jiu-jitsu.
Hey man, and this is not a rain on Sean West parade either. I mean, he's a good kid. He'll bounce back. He'll find a way to make it. Do I feel like he should be above these smaller local shows? Yeah, I think he should be like kind of on the regional track that you're ascending to right now. But right now you have a good streak behind you. You got a good record, a good gym, good management. That's why you have these opportunities right now. So
yes, sir.
As much as he wants to poo-poo about it, you put the work in. You got
Yeah.
You can't.
I'm very happy with the opportunities that have been presented.
Remember that one.
What's that?
I said they all can't be friends after the fight. Just remember that one.
Yeah, it's a true game.
Now, about the fight coming up the 17th, like I said, Legacy Fighting Alliance, making that debut May 17th. Tell us a little about, your opponent. What do you expect with this matchup?
All right, yeah, so my fight's May 19th. It's going to be my first televised fight, so I'm pretty amped up. I'm fighting Carlos Calvo He's coming out of Valley Flow Striking in Chicago by way of Costa Rica. So this will be his first fight in the States. And I'm just amped up. He's undefeated as a pro, as an amateur. I'm excited to take that 0 away, give him his first loss, and just keep moving on up from there. I think I'm too much for him. I think I showed it in my last fight. I'm just gritty. I'm hard to get taken out of there. I've never been submitted. I've never been knocked out. I'm coming. I fight everybody that I fight, and I'm going to keep coming forward. I'm going to throw hands. I'm going to throw elbows. I'm going to throw knees. Might put a couple kicks in there. If I get hit, I get hit. And I don't like to get hit, but it happens. This is a fight game. Everybody's going to get hit. So I know I can take the punch and keep coming forward. I know I've got submissions. 8 out of 8 wins, I got 6 subs. So I'm just coming for him. I'm coming for the neck. I'm coming for the head.
You're just not your typical, brawler type of fighter. You have a rounded skill set, especially with the submission game. And it's funny because you have that skill set coming from, I guess you would say, a primarily striking gym, which I think is good, which means when they put you in that fire, you give them fits on the ground. Is that right?
Yeah. And Duke harps about it that to be a good striker, you should have a great jiu-jitsu game because then you're not afraid to throw the strikes that you can throw because you're not afraid, hey, if you take me down, I'm going to try to sub you, I'm going to hit you while we're on the ground, and I'm going to get right back up and I'm going to hit you some more. So that's kind of how I fight.
It's kind of a necessity to have that, be that well versed because you see a lot of fighters that are straight strikers and they get taken down. They're like, oh shit, I don't want to kick that person anymore, and they end up losing. But
right, and then they start getting beaten in stand up.
Yeah, because their minds all fucked because they're like, I can't throw my kick anymore. What the? Yeah, so I mean,
look at the way
Fabricio
Verdum started striking people.
Yeah, I mean, that takes years of practice, though. It's like if you've been a striker all your life and you just start your jiu-jitsu, I mean, it's going to take a long time. I mean, how long does it actually take before somebody would feel comfortable battling in the cage with both skills? It seems to me that it would take a lot of time.
Yeah, and there's, people are good at jiu-jitsu, and then there's people that are good at MMA jiu-jitsu because it's a whole different ballgame. It's like in normal jiu-jitsu when you got your gi on, you can't get hit. You can lollygag on the ground a little more. You can set up some of the submissions a little more. And when you're on the ground in the MMA fight, it's like you can hit them to make them move. You can get hit and use their hitting as different. It's just a whole different ballgame, and it takes forever to get used to it. But once you can, really start getting it solidified, get your game together, and, I mean, I think I've got a pretty good MMA jiu-jitsu game. I mean, obviously I can improve a ton. I can always improve a ton, and I'm continuing to train under my professor, Daniel Wanderlei. But, I mean, I think I've got a pretty good grasp on the MMA jiu-jitsu, but I'm going to keep getting better.
Hey, Nate, do you understand the fans' views sometimes where they're booing when they see jiu-jitsu because they just don't understand? And it's like, I feel like jiu-jitsu is more of like a chess game or more of like a pitcher versus a batter. I mean, like you said, you could take a couple of shots and sucker somebody into a certain area and then just take them out. Do you get frustrated with that aspect of fans, or is that something that's like, hey, it is what it is?
Yeah, I mean, it gets on your nerves sometimes. I mean, everybody wants to see the big knockout, and the fighters like to get them too. The knockouts are cool. It's really awesome when you knock somebody out cold. It's like, there's nothing left to them. They just fall. But, I mean, I posted it a couple weeks ago on my Instagram. I personally prefer to get the submission because when you get knocked out, your brain shuts itself off to protect itself. Your body naturally does it. You don't tell yourself to get knocked out. It just naturally does it. When
it's
you're
like dropping your
computer. What's that?
It's like dropping your computer, and your hard drive has to restart and reboot, man. It's
exactly.
Like that. I mean, that's damage. Sure. It's causing damage.
Yeah. And then the submission, I mean, you consciously make the decision to tap out and quit. You quit the fight. You said, I can't do this anymore.
I can't get out of this predicament. I'm done.
I'm done.
So that has to be the more demoralizing. That has to be the more demoralizing of the two, though. I would gather. I mean,
I think when people, if people think about it the same way I do, without a doubt, I personally think it's more demoralizing. But the knockouts scare you because, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. You can get better at jiu-jitsu and not quit and get better mentality. The knockouts, you can't stop them. I mean, if you get clocked the right way, you're going to sleep, and it doesn't matter what you do.
I think, Steve, remember they were talking about Chuck Liddell coming out of retirement? We were talking about knockouts.
Oh, please, stop it.
I'm just talking about it. I'm not saying it.
I know we're just talking about it, but it gets to the point where, like, as much as I would love to see some more Chuck Liddell fights, why'd he retire? Oh, yeah, that's because he got knocked out damn near 5 times in a row.
Yeah.
That's why. You know, as much as I would love to see Chuck in his old heyday, they were talking, let's have him come back and fight Randy. I don't want to see that. There's nobody in Bellator I would enjoy seeing him getting in the cage for, if that's where you people are going with this.
If that's the case, we should just get the senior league ready to roll.
What was that?
If that's the case, we should just open the doors to the senior league.
Well, you got to remember,
Nate, you wouldn't be there for a long time.
If anyone has read Forrest Griffin's
I don't think
book,
I'd ever be there.
If anyone has ever
read
Forrest Griffin's first book, he has a section on post-apocalyptic kind of things where you would basically have geriatrics who are allowed to bring oxygen tanks, whatever, into the cage with them to fight for their lives. That would be pretty much what we're looking at. Like, are we really starting this?
Yeah.
Man.
Keep going, Nate. Continue with your knockout versus submission.
Oh, I think that was pretty much
he's right,
done.
though. But he's right. Like when you think about your life post MMA. If you were one of these guys that are hunting for knockouts, staying on your feet all the time, collecting damage, it's not a good day. It's definitely not.
No.
You've already heard cases where we know what happened with Jordan Parsons, how he was unfortunately killed by the drunk driver.
Terrible accident.
But
yeah,
when they went and did the autopsy, they went and checked him out, and that kid hasn't really been in a whole lot of knockout, drag out fights. He had CTE from doing MMA. What does that tell you? The same thing that we went through with the NFL that we could possibly have to deal with in MMA in the next 10 years.
I think most people get it from practice.
Right, yeah.
I think a lot of it happens from hard training. Because
I think people spar too much sometimes, and they go too hard.
You don't have a doctor there. You don't have anyone say, hey, you need to take a few weeks off from from getting your brain rattled.
Yeah, that's another thing that our coach Duke Rufus is really good about. Duke, if he sees you get dropped at the gym, or in the awful event that somebody does get knocked out cold, Duke's like, hey, you're done for a couple weeks. He's like, I don't even want to see you in here for jiu-jitsu. He's like, you got to take 2 weeks off completely, and then you can come back to jiu-jitsu. I don't want you getting hit in the head for at least a month. Duke's really good on us, and he helps us with the sparring too. Like, we go hard one day a week, but
that
we get
keeps
at
guys
it,
from going crazy, right?
Right.
That kind of keeps guys from going crazy. It's like, dude, I can't be knocking you out. You can't knock me out, because then I'm done for a month and a half. So that's not really going to be feasible.
Right.
And then
we've got a smaller team, but it's such a deep team. Like, everybody's good. Yeah. And we don't have 1 million people like some of these bigger gyms do, but everybody helps everybody. So you put somebody out cold, now they can't help you out for a month.
And we were talking to Daniel Gilmore last week. He was talking about his gym you need to be if you're the member of the gym, if somebody wants to come in, you have to be a member and bring them in. And if they end up screwing up, then it's your ass. So that kind of keeps all the riffraff out too. But like you said, a smaller team is always, I think, beneficial because you just become more of a close-knit family.
Definitely. We've got a very close-knit team.
Well, and I think the other big thing is I think another reason why Duke is so hard on that. Remember the hit he took for the kickboxing events where the kid passed away, and they were like putting that on Duke, like he had something to do behind what the referee did in the ring that night. It's a very sensitive subject anymore, and you have to be on top of things, not just to protect you guys, but at the same time you have to protect yourself because look where he's at right now. Something could happen, and people just because he's successful use him as a target and take him down. It happens in plenty of things, not just in MMA, but you see at the NFL draft, kid. Basically had to take a lie detector test to some of the teams because some girl said that he unwantonly took advances at her when it was something totally different. It's a crazy world we live in. You have to protect yourself from everything anymore.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
So, Nate, how do you protect yourself in the gym, man? How do you protect yourself? I mean, like you said, you're gonna get hit. Stuff happens, but how are you keeping yourself ready to go?
Training good gear. Always training good gear. If you don't have combat corner gear, you should run out and go get some. If you don't have a grip mouth guard, you need to hit them up, protect your teeth. Just training in good gear is a big thing. Protect yourself, protect your
I'm definitely with you with grip because that's the same mouth guard that my stepdaughter uses.
Oh, good. Yeah, they're great mouth guards. I love them. I've used them since I was 18 years old, and I've got all my teeth still. Well, other than my wisdom teeth, but that had nothing to do with wood.
You're like, knock on wood.
Yeah. Well, I don't have to because I've got grit, so I'm not worried about it.
Damn.
But so I would say
they can do just about anything you want with them too.
Yeah, they can do whatever you want. They do really good customization. I think I've got my first one had my area code 920. My second one said Sheboygan, my hometown, and the middle O was.
How long do you keep mouthpieces? Nate, how long do you keep mouthpieces? I mean, obviously, when you have a sponsor, they take care of you, but do you change it up every fight, or you just wait till it starts basically?
I don't change it every fight. When it starts getting loose in my mouth, and I can if it starts falling out, when I'm not if I don't have to pull it out, that's when I really want to get a new one because, I mean, when it's moving around, that it's not to your teeth anymore. It's not form fitting. And when your mouth guard isn't fitting right, I mean, it's easier to get your teeth knocked out, but it's easier to get knocked out as well because your mouth is moving around the way that it wasn't moving around when the mouth guard first was fitting.
So if it gets old, do you throw it into the crowd and say, go for it?
Oh, no, I still have all mine. I keep them. They're souvenirs. Nice. They're pretty cool. Your mouth guards are too cool.
You got a picture of that collection?
I do. I think. Yeah, I've got 3 right now. I'm gonna need a 4th one soon. I'm gonna have to hit them up.
You got them in nice cases and everything lined up, perfect.
Yeah, they look nice.
So hey, man, this is great news. You go to Legacy Fighting Alliance. You talk about the UFC. You talked about that would be the ultimate goal before you had the Sean West fight. And now it's looking like the stars are pointing in the right direction. I know you're ready to go for this fight, but do you think with LFA that's the gateway to the big time?
I think so for sure. I think LFA, RFA and Legacy Fighting by themselves showed that they were pushing people to the UFC. And now that Legacy Fighting and RFA are together in Legacy Fighting Alliance. It's one of the two biggest feeders into one makes it by far the biggest feeder to the UFC. So with being in LFA, I mean, there's only one reason that I'm there, and that's to win fights, fight for their belt. Whoever has it, I don't care who it is, I want to fight them. Win that belt, and then I think that belt's the ticket. I mean, obviously the goal is the UFC, because once you're in the UFC, you get to prove that you're one of the best in the world, and that's what I'm here to prove, and that's what I'm training for, and that's what this all is about, is to be the best. And I'm just out here to show that I am. I'm going to keep training, and I'm going to keep getting better, which, if people watch my fights and they're like, oh, man, he's good, it's like, just imagine how good I'm going to be in the next fight, because I'm always trying to get better.
And you already got your eyes on that UFC weight class. I'm gonna get your opinions on it. We were talking about how a lot of people kind of feel that a lot of these divisions are getting stale, whether it's inactivity from champions or just lack of talent. If you're coming in to say, if you're in the outside looking and say you take your fighter hat off for a minute, and you're looking at the UFC featherweight division, what are the good things you notice about it right now? I mean, obviously, Conor McGregor, had to vacate the title due to inactivity and all that, but we're about to see Jose Aldo and Max Holloway face off to, make a new official champion, at least in my opinion, to the prospects that are coming up. Where does Nate Jennerman fall in that picture? If you're ranking yourself, what are you, top 15 now? Where do you think you're at?
Let's see, top 15 in the UFC. I honestly think that I create problems for anybody I fight, just because of my never give up mentality. So yeah, I think there's guys in the UFC that I beat hands down. Like I bet on myself 10 out of 10 times. There's guys in the UFC that I feel I could beat right now as is, but the thing is, I'm always getting better too. What I'm at right now isn't going to be how good I am in 3 weeks. I'm having breakthroughs all the time with my coaches, Duke Rufus, Scott Cushman. Me and Scott Cushman work pads every Saturday, and just yesterday is the best I've hit pads with him. Yeah, so just every time I'm doing it, I'm getting better. So I'm looking ahead, I'm looking forward to May 19th, and other than that, I'm not really focused on anybody else at the moment. Carlos Calvo has to go down, and then I can start looking at what's next. But I'm ready. I think I can beat some of those guys.
You can't really look too far. You can't look ahead in this game. If you look ahead and then something happens where you didn't get what you wanted, so that's a huge disappointment. If you start looking too far ahead, then you start getting a little bit anxious about, oh my God, I got so many things and so many people to beat. What am I going to do? But yeah, one fight at a time is the way to go, and you can only do one at a time. But it looks like this is going to be a tough test, and I know you enjoy the tough tests. So
I do.
I'm sure you wouldn't have it any other way.
I'm sure what?
I'm sure you wouldn't have it any other way. This if you're gonna take the easy route to the UFC, you're probably gonna get destroyed when you get there. So if you get these tests,
exactly,
you have these undefeated fighters, you start giving them losses, people start paying attention to you because hey, you're giving these guys losses that never lost. So then you're coming back with adversity. You've already faced adversity, like you said. I don't like getting punched, but I can take a punch, and you can. You can't teach that.
The biggest thing is you can't teach somebody to have heart. You can't teach somebody to never give up. That's something that they've got to either have or they've got to learn it on their own, because nobody's going to teach you. Nobody's taking that punch for you, so they can't tell you how to do it.
And I was looking at the interview with Sean, and he was like, yeah, he took a year off, and he came back, and I guess he took a year to get married. And he's like, oh, but I was looking at your age, and I'm like, wait a minute, you took a year off, but I think you were like 23. I'm like, what the hell, dude?
Now.
Yeah, I know, but when you took that year off, you're probably, 23, 22? Yeah, I mean, I'm doing the math.
23.
So I'm like, dude, you're a young guy, man. Who the hell cares if you took a year off and, took care of your business? I mean, yeah, the sky's the limit for you, Nate, man. You just got to get the job done. It seems like you got a plan. And what do you think about guys that think that have that retirement thought in their mind? What's your thoughts on that?
I think when you start really contemplating retirement, you should maybe only have like 1 or 2 more fights. When you're really contemplating and you're like, man, I don't know if I want to get back in there. It's like, unless that feeling goes away like 20 minutes later, you need to start thinking about hanging it up because your heart's not there, man. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get out there and you're gonna get embarrassed. I mean, this isn't the kind of sport where you can't be half in because it's like if you're at basketball practice, you're like, man, I don't know if I want to play basketball anymore. You go to your next game, it's like you lose by like 15, 20 points. It's like, yeah, it was embarrassing. Yeah, it sucks. We lost by points. It's whatever. It's like you go into a fight like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't want to. You get knocked out. You get your jaw broke. It's a whole different ball game. As much as it's a sport, it's still a fight. There's a chance of you getting hurt really bad. You don't want to be half and half. You need to be all in, or you should really be all out. All in or all out. I mean, you can't half-ass this game. You got to be there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably derived from a lot of people throwing around if you're not going to give me this, the R word's coming out. Anderson Silva is kind of, making idle threats to the UFC.
Yeah, it's not going to get him a title shot.
I mean, I was already saying, like, the very next day, George St. Pierre comes out and says he's not going to be ready till October. So I've been calling for it for a while, and I'm going to continue to lobby for it. Michael Bisping needs to defend the title against Romero or Whitaker, whatever they wind up deciding, and they need to finally give us our Anderson Silva George St. Pierre fight. We waited long enough. Neither one of them has titles, and it looks like, George is basically going to be left without a fight at this point in time. Give us the fight now, please. We waited long enough.
Yeah, that would be exciting. It's almost like the Manny Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather thing. It's like we've wanted it for so long, and it's like it's probably not going to deliver the way it would have a couple of years ago, but we're still going to tune in and watch it, and it's going to be good.
That's going to be the same thing when we finally got Chuck versus Wanderlei. Would have been 3 years prior? Probably not, but that particular fight wound up being epic as it was anyways between Chuck and Wanderlei. But this is another level. Both of these guys were held their division with an iron fist for the better part of 5 years, which is rough for either one of those guys.
Yeah.
And they ruled they ruled the UFC for the better part from 2005 to like almost 2010. So
yeah, it was amazing to watch.
The fans are kind of owed it at this point in time, and I think that the UFC needs to make sure it gets delivered by the end of this summer.
I agree. That'd be awesome. I would be super amped up.
Now, I also went as far as saying that it needs to happen in Canada. We know it. We know it's not going to happen in Brazil, because if they do it in Brazil, the Canadian fans will literally rip the UFC to shreds for it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you should go neutral then. Maybe Vegas is the way to go. I mean,
but you got to think this is going to be George's first fight back. If they don't put him right, it doesn't have to be Toronto or anything like that. It just has to be in Canada. It has to be.
Right. I mean, I would find the biggest venue in Canada.
I mean, they
it'll sell out.
Didn't they do over 20K at the Sky Dome? when they went and did that in Toronto?
I don't even know.
I forget the numbers, but they every seat that they didn't break off, they sold that night.
Yeah, I mean, if you have George returning for his first time in Canada, I think it sells out no matter how big the venue is. So that would be smart for them to sell out like that. But Brazil pretty much sells out every time they go there too. So,
well, that's because how crazy those fans are. Like I said, Brazil, Canada, they all as a nation, a country, whatever, they always sell out those events, which also makes me kind of sad as an American at times because you see some of these events where you go into other countries and they're there from the very first fight all the way to the last fight. It's not like that here in the States for whatever reason. It's almost like
I don't get it. I mean,
like
you see a lot of
the United States MMA fans are like the Dodger fans of baseball. They don't show up to the third and they're leaving by the seventh.
Except for the ones on Twitter.
I mean, it's the only fair comparison I can have to it
the
because
Twitter fans.
You see when you're watching these events over in the UK that they're packed from the beginning, from the early prelim fights. Where it's not like that here in the States.
I would love to fight over in Europe. Their fans seem awesome. Europe or Brazil or Canada, anywhere where like the fans are there from the get-go and they're into everything. I would love to fight somewhere like that.
I mean,
in the U.S.,
putting yourself
they don't show up until...
I mean, also like look at our boy Felder, man. He's about to get that fight with Stevie Ray over there in Glasgow. That should be an interesting matchup, and not just
I'm
that.
excited for that one.
Oh my God, dude, that's way better than what we were asking for beforehand because that would have just been a beating.
The Mark Jacketti fight.
That kid don't want nothing to Paul, dude. Come on.
Yeah, Paul will whoop him. Oh, Paul, come on, man. Stevie Ray don't want nothing with Paul
and it's not a diss on Mark either. It's just where Paul's at in his skill set. Like, you're dangerous. You have areas, but what you're dangerous
he's
is
flashy,
like, dude,
but he's
like it's flashy, fine. You can't always nail those flashy moves. Paul nails them every once in a while, and he's been doing taekwondo since he was a freaking a little kid, and he doesn't nail them off all the time either. But the thing what I'm saying is like, dude, how many people do you know can just walk through Edson Barbosa leg kicks? Let's just say that. Not many can do that, right? Most people wind up curling up and they don't want no more. Paul gets angry and continues to walk forward.
Yeah, Paul's a beast. I'm excited for him to get that Glasgow fight and get back in the ring because I can't wait to train with him some more and learn some more things from him.
And that's the other thing about having a guy like that in your training room. I might be a bit of a homer because I know him, but like the way he is with his teammates, like if there's something you're not getting, he'll sit there in the gym when you hold pads with you till you get it. He'll make the effort to help you out, and that's I think the other thing of why I feel the way I do about him. I'm not going to sit there and act like he's going to be fighting for a title within a year. We know how hard it is to climb up that ladder in that division. It's the deepest division in all of combat sports. I don't want to hear what anyone says. That lightweight division is just nuts.
I agree. Lightweight division is
his character above that, how he presents himself, how he interacts with his fans and his supporters. I think it's just something I think that more people should pay attention to strive to be like. Not just who he is in front of the camera, but who he is behind the scenes too.
Yeah, I agree. If he could get some more like camera time and see the way he is on the mat with teammates and stuff as well, I think a lot more. I think he's got a lot of fans already. I think he'll get even more. He's just an all-around great dude, and I'm super amped up for him to get that fight and show that he's one of the top guys to mess with and that he's climbing that ladder.
Yeah, he's definitely climbing that ladder. Go ahead, brother.
How important is it for you to have like a social media presence to sell your brand, so to speak, and and to make a name not just with your fighting, but being maybe an over-the-top character. Is that important to you, or is that just like, yeah, whatever?
I know it's super important to the game, or to it all. Like, you have to have a lot of followers, and it's hard to portray your character in social media, and I try, but I drop the ball a lot too. Sometimes I'll post every day for a week, real good, and then all of a sudden I don't post for about a week, and trying to get back into it. So I try to do well with my social media. My wife helps me out. She tells me when I need to post sometimes. She's like, hey, you haven't posted in a while. You better get on it. I was like, thanks. I better do that. So, like, stuff that I do on the side, like mountain biking, like I try to post about, other things that I do other than fighting, like I like to mountain bike. I like to go hiking. I like to do a lot of other things, not just fight.
Well, that's a good thing, too, because I've interviewed a lot of people, Steve and I have, where it's just like all I do is fight, train, sleep, eat. It's like it's good to see that you have a life outside of fighting as well, that you can remain busy and be successful. At the other flip side of the coin, you got other things you like to do. You're not like a robot.
Right, yeah. And, above all, one of my favorite things to do is just hang out with, like, my family. See my mom every weekend. I like to see my aunts and uncles a lot, my cousins. We go over by my wife's parents all the time as well. So we see my dad all the time. It's nice to get to see my family all the time. So
family's very important. Family's very important because one day they're not going to be there. And so it's good, so a lot of people take advantage of it or take it for granted. But as you get older, just time starts rolling faster and faster, and it's very important that you spend quality time with your family, especially because they're the people you trust the most. They're not going to stab you in the back most of the time. If they do, that sucks.
Yeah, I agree.
But,
they are
but
the people you trust the most.
Getting out there, doing mountain biking and everything. You like to be close to nature. That peace. What does it bring to you?
I don't know. It's just something different. Being cooped up in the gym all day training, it's just nice to be outside, away, and I don't know. When I'm on my mountain bike, it's like, driving through there, it's like, it's just you and the bike, and if you got a couple buddies with you or something, you guys get to bike around together as well. But it's a really good time. You get to challenge yourself in a different way than the fighting does. So it's one of my favorite things to go out and do, to be honest.
I used to always appreciate when I go for a long run, and I'd rather run outside than inside. It's just hearing all the different noises you hear. Sometimes I take the headphones off and just go for a long run and just listen to nature. And sometimes that just refreshes you. It kind of just clears your head and resets your brain.
Absolutely, yeah. Running outside is a million times better than running inside.
Yeah, because usually if you're running inside, there's music blaring, there's a lot of commotion going on, and then you got this treadmill that's not going to slow down or go faster. It's just going to go, and tear you up. So it's like I always like to change gears when I was running up hills or running down hills. It's like just a much better experience. So what do you, since the fight, did you take any time off? Did you reevaluate or just go back into training?
I took a week off. Not quite. Almost a week off completely. I went back to gi pretty quick, and then I was doing jiu-jitsu and, like, training the striking. I didn't get hit for 2 weeks. I took 2 weeks from sparring to not get hit. I did get dropped twice in the fight. He hit me hard. So I took the time, let my head heal up a little bit, and now I'm back to where I usually am. But, yeah, he hit hard, so I took the time. I was being smart, and now I'm ready to go again.
Love it, brother. Love it. I can't wait for this fight. Stoked that you're getting this opportunity. Another tough guy to kind of, help build the resume up there. Hopefully, getting the call, regardless if we're talking about UFC or another promotion. And talking to you, man, I hope you get the fight overseas sometime soon, because I'm sure that's just one of those experiences that you're gonna definitely want to kind of take in, regardless about what happens with the fight. Being able to travel is probably one of the more unique things about MMA that's beautiful.
Yeah, I like the traveling, so I think it'd be cool to travel. I think it'd be great to get that an overseas fight. I think it'd be fun.
Getting paid to fight and travel. There's nothing that beats that. Not for a fighter, I would suppose.
Definitely not. But Nate, man, how we wrap things up with this. Kind of throw the proverbial microphone over you. Anyone you would like to thank, training partners, teammates. Shoot out your social media sites, sponsors, websites, any charities, anything like that. The time is yours.
All right, thanks, man. I just really want to thank you for bringing me on the show again. I like coming on here. It's always a good time. I'd like to thank all my coaches down at Rufus Sport, Daniel Wanderley, Scott Cushman, Duke Rufus, just always having my back, and all my teammates. I couldn't do it without them. A few guys I've been working with a lot lately is Rafael Stotts, Chris Wright, Gerald Mearshart, Mike Biggie Rhodes, JP St. Louis, Manuel Sanchez a lot lately, O'Day Osborne as well. Also, shout out to all my sponsors, Combat Corner, Grip Mouth Guard, 1740 Beard Bum, Raw Dog Food Supplies, Pet Supplies in Sheboygan, Champ Sports Bar in Sheboygan, Three Sheeps Brewing Company, Advanced Spine Care and Wellness in Sheboygan, as well as Iowa Bison Company. Just shout out to them for always supporting me, and also got to thank my family for always having my back. My mom, my dad, always showing support. My wife, always supporting me with everything that I do, and above all, I just got to thank God for all these blessings in my life, and super amped up. May 19th, I'm coming to show that I belong in LFA, and make sure that they know why I'm there. I'm there to climb up. I'm there to be their number one guy, and I'm also there to prove that I'm UFC ready.
Oh, man. Looking forward to being able to catch you on Access TV, brother. I think that's the other beautiful thing is that, not just that they're pumping out quality fighters there at LFA, is that the platform they also put you on, too. It's a good opportunity for you. Hopefully we get to see you taking advantage of that sponsorship money while you can, brother.
All right, I will. Thanks, man. I appreciate everything.
All right, anytime,
Peace,
Nate. You have a good one, brother.
You too. Take it easy, man.